Friends. All right. I got a new camera set up because, whoa, I should move my mouse. My friend Zach hated this camera setup. And I went with another camera setup for a while. I liked it, but I think I'm back, baby. All right. Today, you don't care about that. Today, we're going to look at how I'm approaching basically finding product market fit for my brand new product, which is my jobs product, right? Where we've got about 7 million jobs in the database. We're looking daily. And I found this really great product market fit for my outbound as a service. Like, people know me of that. They refer me. It's great. But I've got this data product. And most of the people that I chat with on the outbound as a service, they don't know how to find leads. They don't know how to like warm up inboxes. They don't know how to take the jobs data to market, basically. So in that world, I'm selling rapid testing. So I've got a lockdown on my ICP. I know who's a good fit there. But I have this other product, which is just this data product. Now, all day, every day, I'd rather just sell that. Here's the data. I've spent a lot of time working on it. Go forth. But now I need to find who are people that with only the company and jobs data, no leads data, no help with messaging, no help with inboxes, can take this and go to market. So this is the same type of thing that you would be doing if you were a new account executive, a new SDR, a new founder, and you're saying, I'm trying to figure out who is right for the product I built. And like, like every entrepreneur, I have built something that I'm not certain someone will use. I know I use it. I like it. I'm a customer of it. We do have a couple of customers for the jobs data, but now I need to find, instead of basically making the jobs product do better at this outbound stuff that I'm doing so that the product can eat the consulting, I want to take a separate approach too, to say, are there people that are essentially like me, right, that can take this data and turn it into value? So we're going to identify we're going to teach you in this video how to use ChatGPT to do this, how to come up with theses and ideas. Then we're actually going to, like, very meta, I'm going to use my data to see if I can find good fit companies and develop hypotheses about which companies need my data, which industries need my data, how would they use it, and who could use the product as it exists today. So a lot of talking. Let's do into the walking. Talking, not walking. All right. So let's start at the very beginning. So I get some custom GPT-4 instructions here. So I actually have, I've trained GPT-4 to think like me. It's, I don't know if I can tell the difference, but I have spent some time doing these like crazy custom instructions. Look, you are specialized in B2B cold outreach, right? So it knows a little bit about me. So the best thing I found for GPT-4 is like to really give it some understanding, step by step, to think like the greatest thinkers. And it always, GPT-4 knows me really well because it knows that I have like an affinity for the stuff that April Dunford writes a lot. So I think it's like, you're into April Dunford. I'm like, yeah, she's so smart. So it's like, great. Who are B2B SaaS product marketers that are great at identifying ISPs and personas? So it gave me a bunch of people here for that. I don't know that I would consider Lincoln Murphy good at this. He's more customer success stuff. I like his work, but I don't know that he's particularly right. But great. Now I just described who my company is, right? We monitor 300,000 companies every single day for their jobs. Like, we're generally useful, similar to Sixth Sense. That's funny. I just talked into this thing, right? And especially on the mobile version, that's where I started this. GPT-4 is really, really good at transcribing, right? Like it says G2, so it knew that. It knew Bombor, a capital B. It's very good. So I'm trying to identify markets. So great. So it said, what are markets that are great for this job data? Staffing and recruitment agencies, really interesting. I've tried selling into them. They're not really data-driven at all. And so, and even though a lot of them have had customers that have churned, the market has flipped. So there's way too many people that are applying for jobs now and not enough jobs to fill those things. So they don't really need staffing and recruitment agencies right now. So it's a very cyclical business. I have found they're not really good fits for idea. Market research firms, interesting. Okay, let's put a pin in that. Consulting companies, I never would have thought to sell to Bain or McKinsey, but it's like, okay. Investment firms, really good idea. We've actually sold to some VCs that are trying our data out right now. So that's a good one. Job board websites, yeah, maybe. I do like this because these are companies whose entire business is this, right? Real estate development companies, corporate office spaces. This might be true, but apparently ChatGPT has not taken into account the pandemic. So we'd have to figure out who actually care about leasing spaces, who are in person, which my data could tell, but very interesting. Relocation service, also really interesting. Moving, very interesting. Educational, HR tech companies, also really interesting. My friend Max from Dover is a good person here. They rely on a lot of data, and I do know other folks that have bought data like this because they aren't HR tech. And government agencies, Okay, great. Now give me real companies in each of these that could benefit from these services. So then give me an example, right? Robert Half, so WeWork, CBRE. Okay, interesting. WeWork, great. So, okay, great. Now, who would I sell to at these companies? All right, well, these are the titles: Directors, Recruitment, Talent Acquisition, Market Research. So I'm getting into further and further depth here, right? Okay, great. Now I understand. Great. Now, what do they think about the most, right? Well, they think about vacancies. They think about comprehensive job listing, user experience, highlight how data. Oh, I asked about messaging here. So how should I think about this? Candidate search, improve efficiency. So it's giving me better and better understanding about what these folks might care about and why they might care about it. But I want to identify both willingness to pay and ability to use the data. So one of the things that I have found is that you kind of need someone that can take the company data and the job data alone and make value out of it, which this can't be someone's side job. In the sales and marketing tech space, there may be 10 or 15 tools that you have to use, right? So you're going to spend a lot of time stitching data together from my data, and that's probably not going to be useful to the end value of your job. So there's a certain type of persona there, mostly growth folks that can do this, that think about this, that have done this before, stitching together different data sets, but harder, which is why we're doing this exercise. Staffing agencies low tech. Oh yeah. So I was I gave it some context, right? Staffing agencies have low technical ability. They've had challenges using this data. Here's exactly what the tool does. Only companies that so take into account usefulness. So what it did is very helpful, right? What's the willingness to pay? Medium, right? I don't want to go into medium willingness to pay, right? Ability to use, low to medium. They often focus on human relationships, advanced technical capabilities, and how to maximize user data, right? So GPT is helping me think through who should I eliminate and why should I eliminate them. Consulting companies, right? Okay, so then I said, great, of these 10, which 3 have the biggest budgets in general and sophisticated enough to use the data? So it's let's whittle this down. Investment firms, I totally agree. I've seen this before. My friend Sasha is at a VC, and he's super technical and understands data. Consulting companies, I've never tried this, but it's very interesting. HR tech companies, I've seen this too. Okay, so we've got some great hypotheses now, and they're matched with some of my understanding about the market and how the market thinks. Great. Now, basically, I ran a series of questions here that are how do I find this inside of my data? So I'm basically asking it to write a search that I can use inside of the jobs data to use the jobs data to find better users for the jobs data. What's happening? It's so crazy. Did you follow it? I used ChatGPT to tell me which industries to search for, and then I said, hey, there is information inside of jobs data that is useful to help me determine what I should target and who I should target in each of these sectors. So basically, I just gave it a natural query. So I'm going to pop over here, and I've done this search for a little bit here. So I just said United States, just said in the last 90 days, talk about investment analysts and find me the jobs that talk the most about this. Okay, let's look about what this company does, strategic needs. Okay, look at this. Data from various data sources. Beautiful. Portfolio holding, security master, market data, and risk analysis from partners. Okay, now I can start figuring out who are these companies? Who's Bara? Let's see. Bara intelligence data. Okay, so this is probably. So it's you can kind of see, okay, this is really interesting, right? What does Bara do? So I can start to understand who are Bloomberg report, like FactSet. Like, well, what the hell is FactSet? So I don't know anything about this industry, but oh, data solutions, right? So now I like want to go after like market data, flexible technology, team. Okay, it's so funny. Anytime I read anytime I read a company website and I have no idea what they do, I know that they're a huge company. Oh God. I can't get enough of that. I can't get, like, what does this company do? Okay, anyway. This is like actually useful. It like does tell me some things, but like why choose FactSet? It's your header. It's your, it's the first thing you want people to know about you. Why choose us? Just like say it. Okay. Sorry. I got really distracted there. Oh my God. Okay. So build other data science and credit risk teams, like, right? Like optimal portfolio performance. So really interesting, right? Let's like keep going. Channel level, grow, negative impact program. So you can kind of see how I can start to understand, like, okay, this person's like basically full job is to understand risk portfolio. Now I need to like understand a little bit more, like, am I going to sell to a bank? Like, I don't know enough about what this person does. So I probably would put this back into ChatGPT and be like, hey, what's their responsibility? What are they talking about? Like, describe this to me as if I didn't know anything about this industry. So, okay, so like this is promising, right? There's totally an outbound play that we can run here to identify if these are good good fits. This risk analysis is really interesting. So, I don't know. I need to like learn a little bit more about risk to like know if I should do this. Okay. That is outside of my sweet zone, but I know people that would be able to answer this for me, that I could go to them with hypothesis and say, here's who I'm thinking about. Here's like the types of things that have come up. Am I crazy? Like, how does this work? Consulting companies. All right, well, let's just like paste this into our jobs data here. That song American Boy stuck in my head. Would you be mine? All right, B2B global software company. This is great. Sales operations, right? So it's a sales operations role using Excel, Tableau, Power BI, right? Wow. Quota selling, comp planning. So this like might not be perfect for me because this looks more about sales planning and reporting as opposed to like like market intelligence. Let's see. CVS, don't want to sell to them. Oh, this is to measure consulting engagements. But like data savvy, so like the other thing I can do is I can start to identify like what job descriptions talk about data. You can see a lot of these talk about data feasibility, data architecture, data like design thinking. This is really interesting, actually. Shipping digital B2B or internal products, like with a heavy data component, or like data lake. So you can kind of start to see patterns are emerging here. Opportunities, conduct research. I'm not going to like belabor this, but this is the HR tech companies. I'm probably going to use Harmonic to do that, but you can kind of see this is how I'm thinking about my go-to-market for the jobs data. Instead of building more product, what I actually want to do is do more operational testing against different types of audiences, how they might think about using the data. If I spend a little bit of understanding of like roles, responsibilities, do a little bit of market analysis, I actually can test a much wider product market fit analysis and say, okay, let's test going to different markets and different industries to see if people can use the product I have today before doing the thing that I will likely do here, which is like make my job eat more of the outbound as a service so you can get to sort of one-click revenue. But before building any other product, I need to experience if I have an audience problem and I can take my product to different audiences, and those audiences can use and leverage and manage the data today. Thank you so much for watching. What a long video. But I hope that this helped you understand if you're bringing a product to market and you have built something that you believe is genuinely useful, but the audience that you're selling in today may not be right for it. Don't build more product. Like, go try different audiences first. And this is the first principled approach about how I might think about doing that. And I just use my data to learn a little bit more about how the market is thinking, but there's a bunch of other ways that you could do this. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know what you think of the new camera setup. Bye.